between 6 Karma and Knights to see which one of these currently undefeated teams is about to get their second dub. Gentlemen, have fun with this one.
Thanks, Jacob. And that is a bit unusual, I'd say. Coming into this matchup, Harrison, not what I was expecting at all. The Knights allowing this pick to come through after the 7-1 trouncing that 6 Karma delivered to their previous opponents, 9Z, in that first week. Do you think this is a strategic VOD review counter-strat decision, or is this just chalking up the first map, hoping to go to the second one? I mean, where's their head have to be for this?
I'm really not sure. I think maybe Knights bans, they banned Villa and Oregon before this, could be counter bans, as 6 Karma have really good records on both those maps. They're 4-1 on Villa, they're 4-2 when it comes to Oregon, even up against, you know, teams in the SI quals and in Copa Elite. So I imagine those were more counter bans, and they had no choice but to leave a map like Clubhouse up, which is a fundamental map. There's not a whole lot of direct counterplay, and maybe Knights are figuring, hey, it's an equalizer. As long as we have our fundamentals down, we've got a chance.
Well, it'll be fundamental siege to start it off, as the Knights, they'll be on defense. They'll have a chance to decide, do they want to go for that just strict turtle basement hold, or are we going to see a little bit of that roam? And at least in this first round, Harrison, we've got our answer. A little bit of that extension up above, but quickly, I think, a retreat here from the Knights as Jerry has dropped down back below, and Tuku as well, retreating to the basement now, down secret, will pick up a kill. As he does so, the opener in the series will go on to Skimzy. Good start for the Knights.
While Pachito was our highlight player from the week prior, Skimzy is a massive part of this roster's entry game and early round. Up against 9Z, he went, I believe, 3-3 on the entry on Cafe, and 1-1 when it came to Clubhouse, but Clubhouse was also a very short game. Historically, this guy is all about those opening engagements, and there's that trade that 6 Karma were looking for. They're able to hunt down Jerry. Akabil is credited with the kill. Now with a minute left, they've got the equalizer, they've forced all these roamers back, and they can start setting up for the execute.
Yeah, 60 seconds on the clock, and they've got pretty much all the map control they need. As you said, now transitioning to the execute phase of the round. The skeleton key tearing apart the floor, seeing how many of these defenders maybe could get exposed, or at the very least forced out into a different position to open up the site for 6 Karma. So go hunting for something right now, but it looks like the Knights, they're not going to be giving up any more ground. They're going to sit back and stay patient. Right, you still have Tuku alive, heavily and aggressively contesting Oil Pit and Blue if anybody wants to rotate around there. But right now, 6 Karma, they're focused on this Arsenal push, all gathered above, except for the Buck, who's rotated around in dirt.
Skeleton Key comes out, and oh, he gets the drop on Tom. Down goes the smoke. Pachito's trying to stick through it. You're gonna die. He was way too late on that. 5 seconds left, but in comes 6 Karma, getting the kills necessary. All that's left is the Valkyrie stuck in the corner. Akabil with the final frag. A high-octane round to start us off, and 6 Karma win it by the skin of their teeth.
I mean, that's one way of putting it. How much time was left on the clock there? It had to be less than half a second. I mean, that was really, really close. 6 Karma cutting it as close to the wire as you possibly could, and sneaking away with just one round under their belt. But Near Disaster Strike says, yes, Harrison, as you pointed out, they tried to stick the diffuser with a face full of smoke. Smoke that wasn't, like, dissipating. Smoke that had just been placed. Yeah. Like, it wasn't even close to getting that bomb down. That was not, like... When we saw that happening, it was very clear that 6 Karma were going to lose a body. And, well, they just decided to play for the frags, and that ended up working. Not confidently, but they get away with the first one, and they'll open up this map with a win.
That is one small issue. Very, very small, that only crept its head up a couple times. It was still existent against 9Z. One of their kitchen takes on Cafe It was very, very slow, and they lost out to time. And guess what? Their one gym bedroom, I believe their one gym bedroom defense, they kind of suffered from their own time wasting and didn't expect 9Z to put up a fight when it came down to, you know, the clock dwindling. So it's something Six Karma are going to have to watch out for. And Jonah, I did double check. By the time that kill came through, there were 0.7 seconds left in the round.
Okay, so not less than half a second, but basically
Half.
Basically half a second left, and that is, I mean, good grief. Not exactly what you're looking to do. Dirty, not exactly what he's looking to do either. A very classic hold there on that, I guess not on the chain rappel, but right outside that main hall doorway. Just in position to deny any defensive rotations, and that is exactly what Six Karma will do. They didn't really have to worry about getting themselves in awkward positions. They just held an angle and waited for the Knights defense to walk into them. That's going to happen twice in a row. Not too surprisingly, though, it's Dirty and Mate, the two players who struggled the most in that opening week. They're off to a tough start here in round number 2 as well.
In the first series up against Cruelty, Mate ended up finishing 12-21, Dirty 10-17. I don't know, most of Mate's scoreline was dragged down by map 1. He definitely picked it up map 2, but you gotta say, Knights are probably expecting more from them. There's still plenty of series to go, but so far, not a great start as Dirty and Mate go down. Solus is a huge part of any defense in which she's brought, and Goyo, he's got his util down, yes, but it's another body loss, and now you've lost a C4 as well, and since this Valkyrie has impacts for impact tricking, Tom is the only one left with that potential, plus Six Karma not getting any trades back. Nobody's dead. Morphed is slightly damaged, but he's Thermite and not even the one carrying the case. Tom's trying to look to turn this around. He's got that pre-placed C4. There's most likely a black eye on it as well, so we'll have to watch out for that and see if he gets a freebie.
Well, under 50 seconds left, Six Karma, the same spot they were in the last round. The difference is they've got 2 kills to speak for, and they still have all 5 bodies. If they want to go for that late round execute again, it's going to be that much easier given the man advantage. Knights are going to do what they can. Right, you've got these Vulcan canisters you can detonate, trying to slow Six Karma down. But again, with this substantial man advantage, it's not going to do all that much. Soko, the kill from above. He does get traded a Nitro Cell from Tom, but Six Karma, now they're going to collapse on the objective below, and Knights do not stand a chance. That's the second round, a much more confident round win for 6K.
Yeah, 6K seemed much more comfortable with the significant man advantage they had claimed thanks to that roam clear. I liked the idea from Knights, right? Hey, Six Karma, they played really slow in clearing what little roam we had last round. Let's double up that roam. Let's force them to waste even more time on us. But they got caught out. Six Karma, now they knew what they were getting themselves into. They had the proper cutoffs all placed, and Knights simply walked right into them. Six Karma, I would wager they didn't even clear the roam. They just sat there, and Knights came to them. Then at that point, a 5 versus 3, they got the trade in Arsenal. That was all they needed to barrel their way into sight. 2-0 for Six Karma on their attack, and Knights still struggling to find a successful site, but they won't go Gym. Interestingly enough, they're going to opt for the much less popular Cash site, and although Thatcher is up, there's no Bandit trip.
Yeah, not seeing an emphasis on that wall denial, right? Only the mute coming out for Knights. No Kaid either, right? Well, of course, he's banned, but not focusing on that electricity. Instead, Six Karma should have a pretty easy time getting that platform wall open if they so choose. But this round can't progress like the last 2 in terms of the overall pacing of the round, simply because the roam will not be as much of a factor, even if Knights want to extend over to the gym side, over to that bedroom side, and maybe somebody down below. Six Karma, they have no such obligation to clear that out. This one really could be a lot more direct. You'll generally see attacking teams here get this platform wall open and then try to work their way into that garage. For now, it seems like Six Karma are just opening up their options, getting some of these hatches open up above, maybe working their way into Logi. But this wall now opened wide. Again, the Mute Jammer quickly dealt with So within 60 seconds, the wall's open, and Knights, they've got to keep careful here.
We've got a lot of people stationed towards Master, but no one on 6 Karma interested in taking it. At least not yet. Maybe now. Maybe now that they've got a ton of time, they could switch up. I mean, the options, as we know, after you open Plat Wall, there's two. You either pinch from Master, take through Con, or you try and take Garage control. And Mate being the only man here in Garage as Legion, it might be ripe for the picking. I mean, there's not a lot that this lone Legion is going to be able to do against an onslaught of utility. The nade gets caught by a Wamai disc. Speaking of the Wamai, he's not the one in Raptor, so he can't keep replacing that utility to stop flashes, nades, etc. Now, with that nade being captured, there are no more nades for Aquafield to use, but now the second thermite going down, I believe, has just opened up Rafters, and he's just gonna... Soko's just in. He gets one kill, could be traded back from the run out from Tuku, but that could be the site opening 6 Karma needs.
Yeah, it's a 4v4, but you're right. They've got this site not under wraps, but at least surrounded. Like Akabeel, he's got a great angle to work with here outside this wall. He's got a soft wall into cash and a couple of angles, kills he could potentially find through this direction, but really no support yet. 6 Karma, they're still staying patient. They still have to work their way up the rafters. Soko was in there early, but 6 Karma really didn't support him. They're waiting this one out. Maybe waiting to see if the Knights are going to make a move. I mean, Tuku's been forced to rotate down below. This flank could be something, but who needs that when you've got 2 gunners on the site? Back-to-back kills for Knights. A third will not be found from Tuku because he is exposed. But now it's a 2v3, 6 Karma. They were looking good. Now they're on the back foot. They've got to push in with only 10 seconds left, and they're not going to have a lot of options. Good kill from Morph, but watch out for this C4 up and over the server rack. Another time delay. Finally, they can look to get this bomb down. It's Morphed around the other side. He gets them both, and 6 Karma, a scrappy round that they will secure.
That's what, 3? I believe, from the thermite of Morphed. 6 Karma, so I got the idea, right? Okay, Soko jumps in through server, kills the garage guy. Yeah, he gets traded out and there's no movement off of it, but the play was not necessarily to rush into sight off of it. Just kill the one guy garage. There is nothing else that Knights can do to replace him. And there you go, just leave someone out the breach, walk up garage rafters, take in from there. But an unforeseen consequence was Knights feeling like they had to get aggressive, and that they did. An angle, the default angle onto the garage steps held from on top of the cash box, that netted a kill, and another player on the defense just straight up swung the breach for another. 6 Karma stuck in a 2 versus 4, though made the right decision. Ace knew there was a guy oil pit, so first of all, fantastic flank drone there, puts us into 2v3, and just goes for plant. The only thing that could have stopped 6 Karma was the C4 because the gas from the smoke had already been used earlier by Tom. So 6 Karma knew exactly what they were walking into. They had just enough time to evade the C4 because, in my opinion, Jerry kind of pulled the trigger a little too quickly. He didn't wait for the plant to really be committed, and that gave 6 Karma the space they needed to move. And Morph went huge. 3 kills for him, protecting Skimzy on the ace. And 3 in a row is going to force Knights to take a timeout. Hopefully they've had a good conversation.
What a round. I mean, another round where 6 Karma, it's 3-0 right now, but it really feels like it could also be 2-1 favoring Knights. With only the smallest little differences. I mean, it's unreal how close it's come. It's literally come down to the last second, to the final second in 2 of the 3 rounds that 6 Karma have won, and they have barely won them. So I agree. I think the timeout is warranted here, given that it is 3 rounds in a row for 6K, but it's been a lot closer than I think the scoreline reflects. And 6 Karma, the second round was clean. But the first round, the third round, I would say rather messy in terms of overall round wins. Yes, great play from Morphed, but should they have really had to just barely dodge a C4 to win that round? Probably not. But great footwork, quite literally, from 6 Karma to avoid that C4 and to get the job done. So at the end of the day, they're in a pretty good spot, and they'll be looking to continue that after the timeout.
Yeah, round is a round win. A point is a point. Doesn't matter how you won it. So now let's see what 6 Karma play for. I don't believe... So I can't tell because Akabil's on the drone, but Morph hasn't used any hard breach. I don't think they've opened up the plat wall yet. The first bit of hard breach is going to go on the con single. Make construction a little bit easier to take. Plus, you've got sort of a cutoff or the threat of a cutoff when it comes to those retreating players should they opt to leave cash. And now Morph evading the mute jammer will go ahead and breach open Jacuzzi. Akabil still has 3 ace charges. They might all be used for bathroom, though, as he's on that rappel. So 6 Karma could be largely just ignoring this cash presence just to try and take this 5v3-ish on site. That's now better for 6 Karma as Akabil with a nice little angle into bathroom gets the first pick.
Yeah, lovely angle here on the rappel. Using those Selma charges to establish that opening, and then look at this from below. Now that Jerry was forced out, he was forced into an awkward position that Skimzy was more than happy to capitalize on from below. Nobody from Knights saw that coming. They must not have had any information or players down below to let the rest of the defense know that there was something going on below that hatch. That's going to be a problem because now 6 Karma once again have a 2-man advantage and are sitting right outside this breach, rearing to go.
And here they come. Pachito, the first man in the site. He's got pings. They know there's one on the bed, but Akabil's there to assist. He'll break the shield, swing off of it, but lose the fight as Tom collects 2. Shotgun out, looks for more down the hallway. We'll have to reload the SMG-12 instead. He was the shining light for Knights in their last series, and they're looking for him to go huge again. And Soko drops right into a frost trap. 3 kills now for Tom, but Morph is in the middle of the bomb site, and the Warden doesn't expect it, leaving Dirty all alone in a 1v2. Plant going down safely from Morph. In comes the Womai, but Skimzy's got the cover, and 6 Karma, again, coming closer than it should have, but all around a much cleaner round to take their 4th in a row.
Yeah, that one was neat and tidy for the most part. Little bit of a mid-round comeback there for Knights. Tom tried to make a pretty significant play happen there, trying to run between Bedroom and Logi, just trying to hold off the remainder of that 6 Karma push, but he just couldn't do it. And that's going to happen when you have a 5v3 advantage in a round. That is the same thing that happened in round 2, and that's the same reason why it was so dominant again. 6 Karma, ever since that first round, they've gotten the opening kill 3 times in a row, and they have shown us that with that opening frag, they continue to move confidently into the building, take gunfights, and it's working. Knights have not been able to find the trades, like, at all. That's been a consistent theme through these 4 rounds, is that even when 6 Karma maybe overextend or get themselves into slightly awkward positions to find a kill, nobody from Knights is there to support that fallen defender and get the kill off the back. That's why 2 rounds have happened where a 5v3 advantage was secured. You can't allow that to happen again. If you're Knights, you need to walk away with these next 2 defensive rounds if you want to have any chance on Clubhouse here, and they need to just keep it a little more coordinated to do that.
The other thing that makes 6 Karma a little scary to play against and really hard to adapt to is their flexibility as well. I mean, look at the ace players just through the first 4 rounds. Pachito for the first 2, Skimzy for the 3rd, who's almost hard stuck Iana, and then Akabil for the 4th. In fact, Akabil has played Ashe, Dokkaebi, Nook, Ace, and now back to Ashe, and he's 7-2.
Incredible.
6 Karma, another strength they have. I mean, sure, it was a big highlight from Tom in their last series, who was playing every operator on the board when it came to attack, and then, like, smoke all 6 defenses. But 6 Karma is an entire team who could do that. And look at their stat lines. Pachito's 1-3. He's the only guy negative because he doesn't have to be positive, thanks to the efforts from the rest of his teammates. But Skimzy gets caught out in secret. The cutoff from Wolf not there in time. He'll get down, but there's cover from the rest of his team. Tuku now taking the fight. Tom gets away alive along with Mate.
Yeah, Tuku really trying to tempt fate there, swinging that for the 3rd time, but yep, getting away with his life, and so will Tom. 6 Karma, they were in the right place to get that trade, and they got the down. They just didn't get that finishing blow. So even though Tom and Tuku have both lost a good bit of HP here and there, Knights will have the advantage by 1. And this is not only going to help them in that late round execute, but it's also going to slow 6 Karma down. They no longer have Skimzy to help take that space, especially from that secret side, that blue side, where Skimzy's been applying a good bit of pressure so far this game and was looking to do so in this round as well. So as things kind of take a little bit of a chill pill, right? Knights, they're going to do the same. They're going to back off, head down to the site, and wait for 6 Karma to make the move.
Actually, I just realized Pachito is Nomad. Nomad on club. Speaking of, already got one. Although Tom is just going to rotate right back. I'm thinking maybe there was like a miscommunication between Skimzy and Pachito, because Pachito was the guy who was going to that wolf cutoff, and Skimzy seemed to be aware there were people in his lounge. Maybe he thought the Nomad was already in position to cover by the time he pulled the nade, but either way, not full clearing the roam like they did last time has cost 6 Karma a body and time. Church wall attempted to be open from Morph, but immediately shot out by Jerry. And he's going to be able to cross into Moto, but Akabeel just drops and gets the drop on Dirty, quite literally. Plan attempting to go down from Pachito, but he's going to relocate as Akabeel still sends himself deeper into the bomb site. Morph to kill. Akabeel another. The ace now traded back, and Akabeel's dead in blue. Now we're down to a 2 versus 2. Although Tom is very low HP, he's got the verticality. He's on that hatch. The plant is going down. In comes the Mozzie, but it's so safe behind that box, and Soko loses the fight third, but not before he kills Tom. Now we're down to a 1v1, but mate, the triple kill! The finisher on Soko as well! Overcomes the odds, domes Pachito behind the box, and Knights take their first point.
Another scrappy round there, Harrison. But yes, it is Knights that emerge victorious for the first time. A messy execute from 6 Karma, really just relying on the hatch drop element of surprise. And for the most part, that part of the attack worked. The problem was, at that point, they were in a little bit awkward positions, right? You had someone bottom main stairs, you had someone trying to push that long haul, while you had, somebody trying to cover from kitchen, somebody trying to work their way in aggressively into back of armory. So a lot of different things going on there for 6 Karma, and at the end of the day, Knights just outgunned them, finally finding a little bit more of that team chemistry on the retake, a position that Knights have been in several times now, losing control of the bomb site, albeit temporarily, and then trying to push back into it for the first time. They found some success there. On the 6 Karma side, would have loved to see them open up that Moto hatch. Something that never happened for the entire round, despite there being no denial on that hatch whatsoever. Again, the Electro Claws are banned. We saw 2 secondary hard breach charges in the pocket of the Buck that did not get used. When the round was over, those were still up. If you're gonna allow somebody to sit in Moto for free when all you had to do was run over that hatch and place a pretty useful gadget on it, I don't know what else you're gonna expect. You're not gonna be able to push down those main stairs safely, and Knights are gonna be able to cover those positions a little bit better.
Now, a very different attack from 6 Karma is coming out. Monty from Pachito. I talked about their flexibility, and once again, they're switching things up. Soko goes back onto Thatcher. He's played Buck every other round, except for these upstairs attacks. So how are they going to deal with the 2 guys in Rafters? Because it's not just 1, it's 2. Mate being one of them. This makes me think maybe this is why he's playing Legion. And when 6 Karma played up against 9Z, they only played, I think, 1 attacking round, and they didn't have the Monty. So I'm assuming this is maybe like scrim stuff. Maybe Knights are just aware that, hey, I like to take Monty Rafters, and so that's Mate's job. Delay this Monty for as long as possible. He's got the support from Dirty, and again, with these goo mines forcing the Monty back off, they might be looking for the kill as well.
Yeah, Mate's in a pretty good position to deny this because, yeah, Pachito, there's nowhere he can go without the support of somebody behind, and with these goo mines just about everywhere. He's going to back off to safety, but Akabeel will not. 9 and 4 now. getting a lot of kills, but he's not going to have an impact here in the 6th round after losing that fight to Jerry. So another good start for Knights. That's the 2nd round in a row where they've claimed the opening kill. And as long as they stay composed here and do exactly what they did in that last round, keep denying this Monty from making any progress, they're putting themselves in a really good spot defensively.
And look at how much damage he took just from that goo mine and a couple of impacts as well. I mean, that's a lot. Unfortunately, there's no more impacts for the Warden / Legion to finish him off, but it's just a red walk up from this attack. Tom goes 1 for 1. Jerry, in the meantime, there's a C4 kill, and now it's just Soko as the Monty falls to mate. 1v4, and yeah, he's not getting past that shotgun. Knights able to win 2 in a row to salvage the half, and then with the 2-4.
Yeah, well, not the best half of all time on Clubhouse defensively. We said after those 4 rounds were won by 6 Karma, if Knights want to have any chance on this map, all they got to do is win the next 2 defensive rounds in a row. And Harrison, they did exactly that. So totally recovered that half. They can move into their attacking half with a little bit more confidence, hopefully. And yes, it's an uphill battle. Got to win 4 attacks here and keep 6 Karma to only 2 defensive wins. But 6 Karma just showed us that that is very possible and something that Knights will now be looking to do.
Capcan coming out, interestingly enough, along with Solus and Warden. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that there's going to be that heavy of a roam. Might be 6 Karma just shooting drones and then leaving. Speaking of drones, 3 of them have been shot in prep. Take that, sorry, 2. Why did it show in... See, it keeps going from X to showing. So I don't know if it's 2 or 3.
The new overlay is wild, man.
It's 3. 3 drones shot in prep. That's pretty horrendous.
Yeah. That's not exactly what Knights were hoping for. Information game, essential in every map of Siege. And here on Clubhouse, it's not going to make their job any easier as they have to work their way into a defense that they'll be trying to look for the first time. You've got the Solus to worry about as well. A threat that Skimzy is going to try to make known as soon as he can. And of course, the Capcan on the roam up above with them. So, an unusual position for a Capcan, but I mean unusual to see a Capcan generally on Club, but Akibil's going to make it work. And with that C4, truthfully, that's enough utility to make your pick worthwhile. Yes, you could have brought somebody else with some C4s. You could have brought out the Valkyrie, but instead you're going to use that information on the Solus and, well, leave Akibil to do a little bit more of damage if he can. Knights making swift progress, but their drone economy cut down to just 4 with the 1 minute 45 remaining.
Not great. Especially as 1 more drone now falls, and Tuka's not going to be able to do anything about it because it was by oil pits. Skimzy immediately rotates back to site. Now 3 drones left for Knights and half the round to go. Especially with how many places that you can play in the bomb site on Church Arsenal, it's going to be tough to track these players down. The garage default is still up for the defense, finally being shot out. But Knights have not done a whole lot with the time they've been allotted. And they had almost the entirety of the top 2 floors to themselves with, again, how light the roam was. And the Capcan on inner bar downs Tom, doing even more damage. Sub 1 minute. And they haven't even opened hatches yet.
Well, the Capcan got his value. Akibil did his job because Tom is now in a world of pain. If an impact or a Nitro Cell just sort of half connects from below, that's going to do it for Tom in this round. But like you said, yes, time is a serious problem for Knights right now. They have a lot of progress still to make. They've got to start actually pressuring the objective down below. And while Tom will survive an impact grenade to the feet, Knights, well, they are going to have to start pushing in. Tuku, he'll get the opener. Morph will fall now to Dirty. Knights are looking like they're gonna make a move swiftly here. 10 seconds, so they still have to get a move on the push into Moto. They're gonna come looming around the corner. Skimzy gets one, but can't get the second. It's all up to Soko now against the world. 4 attackers to find, and his position is known. Pinned on the AK rack, and he's not gonna make a move. Knights didn't look all that clean in the end, but they got it done. They didn't need 30 seconds. They didn't need a minute. All they needed was a beautiful 10-second execute, and they'll take the round.
That was brilliantly played by Knights at the very end. The first 2 minutes, 50 seconds of that round was not great at all, but they made it work because Six Karma looked like they were getting a little too stir crazy. Like they weren't comfortable sitting still because it was taking so long for Knights to do something. The opening pick Tuco got was from oil pit into blue, and the Wamai died walking across the main hall door, not expecting someone to be bottom main with 30 seconds left for whatever reason. And from there, I mean, it's really tough for Six Karma to bring something out. You've got one guy, AKs, who can't really do anything except stop a kitchen drop down that never came. And Solus has a shotgun, and she got swung between pumps. Nothing she could really do there. And it looks like we're lagging. Yeah, all right.
Bummer.
All of 6K just lagged out.
Gonna have to go to a...
Welcome back. Sorry about the break. We are not on cash anymore. Wait. I thought there was...
It's possible we misread.
No, I'm looking at the clean feed. They were on cash.
Okay.
All right. I guess maybe because it was so early, they're allowed to...
For the record, our confusion, those of you who don't know, typically when you rehost, the rule is that you need to go back to the same operators, the same site, the same everything that you were on before the rehost. I don't know if that rule has changed.
I mean, no protest, not our problem.
Not our problem. I mean, at the end of the day, they can do what they want to do, but that is why we figured we were going to CCTV and cash, because that's what we tend to see. But hey, we go instead, I guess more exciting. We got stage and bar as well.
What are they gonna do with this Sens? Because they don't have any other smokes and they don't have glass. So Sens is gonna be a one-time thing. It's gonna be, okay, we're sending in Sens. If this doesn't work, we're kind of screwed. And Dirty has already sent one in, and off of it, he gets a kill on the Skimzy. Almost another Hero's Morph takes a lot of damage and is finished off by Mate. Soko, the first frag for his team, cuts down Tom. No more Dokkaebi. Pachito hunting for Mate, who is sitting still as a statue. Now rotates, spots Soko. Can't connect with the kill. The Echo's still tucked in bathroom, and the Solus is just running around. I don't really know what he's doing. Soko's now dead, and Mate, nade out. He's going to attempt to clean up this Echo. No damage being done by the nade somehow, but Pachito thinks that Mate is alone. He gets the kill through the stun, but Tuku has the refrag, and that leaves Akabil alone upstairs in a 1v3.
Well, an interesting clear that the Knights undertook. A very direct, a very aggressive clear that just relied on that element of surprise, but it worked beautifully. Akabil was left in a 1v3. He now turned that into a 1v2. Not an impossible situation to win, but certainly a difficult one. He knows that Knights have taken control of upstairs, and he knows that somehow they need to transition down below if they want to get this bomb down. So he has a little bit of room to work with. Hopefully a couple of call-outs from his teammates to help him out. Knights, in order to do this, they're going to try to approach it from two fronts. One player on the main stairs, the other potentially from that stock side. Akabil, he knows where one of them is now, and I think he suspects the other one. Prox alarm goes off. He knows what he's dealing with, trying to fight this aggressively, hoping to get this first blow. He does. Now he's got to back off, looking for the next one. Pistol out, but no dice. Very close, but the Knights will prevail. A 2v1, and they make it work.
I gotta see, how low is that Iana at the end of that with the Bailiff? Because the Bailiff, not necessarily the greatest sidearm in the world. I think Akabeel was positioned pretty well, but not hitting that reload. I mean, he still had 17 bullets in the T5. I wonder if maybe he like panic switched. Maybe thought the thermite, the kill on the thermite took more bullets than it actually did. Okay, Tuku was about half. So, close but no dice. Unfortunate there for Akabeel, did everything it could, but that upstairs hold from 6 Karma got picked apart by Knights. Coming in with that Sens first, isolating, I believe it was Skimzy, and taking him out first, and then just walking through the breach and winning their gunfights as the Echo was kind of forced to back off in the bathroom. Beautiful take from Knights. We're now in a tie game, by the way. Now that Knights have won 4 rounds in a row. It was 4 in a row for 6 Karma, and then 4 in a row for Knights. So although the game is tied, I think we can agree, though, Knights probably have the momentum.
Oh, for sure. I mean, with that rehost, kind of forgot that wasn't just 2 rounds in a row. That was 4 rounds in a row. Knights closing out their defensive half with 2 rounds, and then, yeah, starting out the attack with a bang. What a way to start. Now this is anyone's game, and we've got a clubhouse that is looking more and more attacker-sided, at least in this series. As it was 6 Karma who got 4 rounds on their attack, and Knights who already have 2, and 6 Karma have yet to find a single defensive success. They're going to gym and bedroom now in order to find something, rocking a little bit of a cache extension, but only 1 player actually on that side of the top floor for now. They're not putting 2 or 3 bodies on that cache side like you would normally see. Morphed is alone over there at the moment, and honestly, makes perfect sense because Knights, they're not approaching from that side at all. Right now, a very direct focus on this jacuzzi wall and pressuring the site. There is nobody on that east side.
So the play for 6 Karma with the Mira was obviously you have the default bathroom Mira, but instead of putting one in Logi, they had it on the main breach. What you do is you open the Mira and impact through it to stop any sort of hard breaching, but the impact missed. I think the very last Selma from Dirty was successful, as 6 Karma weren't able to get it off that wall. So now Knights have a bit of an avenue through Jacuzzi. It's not huge, it's not ideal, but it exists nonetheless. What are they going to do with this thermite from Jerry? Did they already open Con Single and Plat?
They did open Con Single, that's for sure. Platform wall, on the other hand, I'm not exactly sure if they're approaching from that east side or not, right? You still see Morphed over here. But Knights, they remain focused on this Jacuzzi side. That's a smoke in Jerry's hand, which also may indicate a desire to actually get a bit aggressive. Speaking of, it's Skimzy who goes for a full wide swing, gets punished by that, and now there's a big problem. Soko, the only angle he had to cut this off, well, it was denied. A perfectly placed smoke. Now Knights, they're all in the building, flooding the site. Soko and Akabeel are able to get 1 each, make it 2, make it 3 for Soko. A triple kill that completely dismantles Knights before they walk into bedroom or Logi itself. Pachito from behind. Jerry had no idea where he was, and an execute that Knights looked like they were ready for, well, it fell to pieces. The Jenga tower collapsing as a little surprise from Soko kept those blocks tumbling 1 by 1.
That was weird. I loved the play from Knights there, smoking off and taking in. But 6 Karma had a response. Akabeel still sitting in Con, right? Like the Yin Candelas came out in Logi to stop the Warden from moving. But I mean, he is Warden. He could have just seen through them. But they didn't account for anyone construction for whatever reason. So Akabeel got a freebie. And then Soko, who we saw remain absolutely motionless, prone in the back of Jim, killed 3 through the footholes and through the gold rotate. I don't know how he got away with it, but he did. And it's probably the reason why 6 Karma just won the round. Because Knights couldn't deal with a guy prone in the back of Jim. So, the momentum has been stunted. 6 Karma have stopped the bleeding, and they've retaken the lead. They're a real big fan of this Mira, as we're seeing her appear again, now on Basement. Another one of her typical sites, and I would like to see the setup. Unfortunately, the Observer is, you know, Latin American, so he's talking to Latin American people, and we're on a 5-minute delay, so I can't tell him what to do. So
Yes, you do not have a direct line to the Observer to ask him to look at something.
Maybe at some point we'll be able to see the Mira set up.
Well, one day. But I want to say one more thing about the last round before we move on to round number 10. What's funny is that Knights smoked off the cross to walk into the jacuzzi wall. Like, the only reason to smoke that, like, they didn't smoke it for the bathroom holes, they smoked it for the gym door. They had to know that somebody was in there that could threaten their chances of walking in. Otherwise why smoke that, right? You've got to assume someone's there. If you're operating on that assumption, do you just why are you forgetting that player when it comes to walking in the bedroom door? When it comes to going through that gold rotate, if you assumed somebody was there when you walked in jacuzzi, don't forget, he's probably still there. And that's exactly what happened. Soko got 3 kills from that position. So it's those little things. Obviously, that's the last round, and we're now moving on to round number 10. We're deep into it at this point. But if you're going to drone something out, get some intel, and make a decision based off that intel, right? Just stick with that. And maybe maybe there was a miscomm. Maybe they said gym is clear, somebody moved, or maybe you assume that Soko rotated off. But either way, bit of a misstep for Knights, and it will prevent that 4 rounds in a row streak from becoming 5 rounds. But looking to bounce back and get their 5th round and tying us up potentially, as they've made some pretty good progress here, and they have all 5 bodies up with the last minute approaching.
Interesting tidbit that, again, is a bit worrying for Knights. So they've largely controlled the entry game this game. They've only lost 3 opening deaths in rounds 2 through 4, which they've all lost. This is... oh my gosh, this is dangerous. While we wait for something to happen here, I'm going to continue my point. So, a little worrying for Knights is that every round that they've had the opening pick, or sorry, every round they've won, they've had the opening pick. 2 rounds that they've had the opening pick, rounds 1 and the round we just saw in round 9, they didn't win. However, every round that they suffered the opening death, they've lost. And now with Dirty being the opener, 6 Karma are looking to win here.
Pattern holds true. They'll be just fine. Good trade. Make that 2 trades as Morph will join Ocubule on the swing. Tom doesn't really have a chance to get this bomb down. He's vulnerable from both sides. But Cheeto, where are you going, my friend? He's going to tuck tail and run up the stairs, using now the main stairs as his position to swing on this buck. But it simply doesn't matter. A little bit of mid-round shenanigans there. But Ocubule stays composed, playing off this mirror window that we do see right there come into effect beautifully. That's why we generally see that mirror on the basement, because there are some positions like that, blue specifically, that you can lock down with 2 mirror windows and hold for the remainder of the round if the attack doesn't clear you out. And that's exactly what we saw from the Knights. So 6 Karma, after losing 4 rounds in a row, they will take 2 more in a row as well and put themselves on match point.
Another opening pick for 6 Karma that Knights were unable to overcome. I realized too that Cheeto got the opening pick as Smoke on site. So I don't know where the hell he killed the ace from, but he did. Now we opt to go cash. 6 Karma, because it looked like they were going to go here before the rehost and then switched, have not gone here yet. So Knights have not seen the mirror setup unless they had drones in sight. And already the mirror setup is, a soft vault mirror on the garage wall. Interesting. So I guess someone can play in rafters? Like they can play the mirror?
Could be, I mean, Ocubule likely to be the position, to be the player in that position, given that it is the Doc, and Doc is going to be that Raptors player like 90% of the time. You also have the Wamai, though. So 2 operators beautifully suited to play this Raptors position, and we very well could see both of them do it. The mirror window could potentially allow them to hold that position a bit longer. If Knights don't take Garage, there will be no way at all for them to take CCTV, because Raptors, again, with that mirror window, is a much stronger, excuse me, I don't know where my head's at, much stronger than it would be otherwise. Maybe this is 6 Karma's way of saying, Knights, we know that you don't like to attack Garage, so we're gonna force you to do it, or force you to take from construction into cash instead.
Very weird angle being opened up in the breach by the thermite. Oh, is that where that's the other mirror window?
Yeah.
I didn't even realize that. I thought that was like a weird ace breach, and I realized they don't have ace. So that's why you had to upside down repel on it. And now, I mean, you can see Tuku trying to play with the angle, but it sucks. Like, you can barely see in the garage with it. So there's not a lot Tuku is going to be able to do from that repel. Impact coming out, but it goes way wide. So the con breach gets opened. Knights don't want to take garage. They're scared of this mirror window. They're scared of the Doc Wamai double hold. And they're trying to take from con, figuring, you know what? If we can somehow disable this mirror window, there's 2 guys stuck in garage. We have the man count heading into sight.
Oh, mate is gotta be careful. He's gonna go in straight on through to the site. Skimsy, he gets totally shocked. Pachido's gone. Jerry now has a chance to get this bomb down. Again, this push from the back, that's what Knights were relying on. And Akibeel now has to fight his way through the very own defense that 6 Karma had already set up. Morphed and Soko are now in the wrong position to stop this. They're both really in a great spot to deny a CCTV plant, but it is down in cash, and the 3 remaining attackers from Knights have backed off. This retake needs to get a move on, considering there's only 20 seconds left on this diffuser timer. Oh, and Morphed and Soko, they're getting distracted by trying to open up this rotate. They're not going to get anywhere with that. Still trying to get through this wall. Maybe long-arming it is the only way to go. Soko's going to try to stick it, but Morphed gets beamed. Soko will hop off and doesn't last much longer either. Knights will make it work.
So, a run out from Pachito ended up being the trigger for Knights to barrel their way into the site because nobody was watching the cash door. What happened? First of all, how did Pachito even manage to jump out of server with someone on plat? I don't know how that happened. Jumping in clearly did not expect mate to be in the site, and neither did anybody else because, again, nobody was watching the damn door. So, Knights have full map control. 6 Karma can't do anything about it. Round, honestly, after that point, pretty straightforward. The mirror windows, incredibly ineffective. And now, we go back to bar. This is where 6 Karma stake their hopes for Clubhouse not going to overtime on a site that their upstairs hold got kind of smoked on. So yeah. I don't know.
I think I don't love this site choice, that's for sure. But again, on that last round, like, they did a great job of forcing Knights to do a backside take, do a cash execute. Like, it seemed that mirror setup was designed for that purpose. Either make Knights uncomfortable and force them to take garage, which they clearly don't want to do, or scare them into submission. And they did exactly that. Knights made a reasonable adjustment. As you said, nobody was watching that cash door. Why not? You know that Knights are going to do that. You've designed a defense that is intended to force Knights to go behind. And they weren't ready for it. So now, This is where we need to see Six Karma solve this problem. And I think that's just unlucky. I think he was just trying to open up that barricade and Morphed happened to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. But this is the kind of thing that Six Karma needs to stop before it gets any worse. Last time they were here, their defense got smoked on this top floor. They need to hold this down. They need to hold it at least for the next 45 seconds and try to maintain this control if they can.
At least Soko gets to trade on the mate outside that main jacuzzi breach. And Dirty just walks in with no info and gets blindsided. Tuku, the next to fall. And Tom is attempting to make headway in through construction. Both he and Jerry not finding anyone, at least not yet. I think Echo, yeah, Pachito is still tucked in bathroom, and he's got support from the Solus, whose hatch is now open, just in case he wants to fall back. Echo finally making his presence known, but it's a perfect cross from underneath with Akabiel. Tom could not have been placed worse, and Pachito shuts it down. Knights, I don't know what happened to their top floor clear, but it was different, and it was not great.
Truthfully, their last clear up top wasn't as much of a coordinated team push. It really was just like, surprise, here we are. We're going to shoot you in the back of the head. We're going to get these kills, play aggressively. It worked last time, but that kind of play style, it's not going to work every time. Six Karma, they were ready for it. They made a smart adjustment, and they come out on top. Barn stage works the second time around, and it will do it in regulation.